to the American people. My fellow citizens, by now, it is well established which political party consistently receives the lion's share of billionaire donations, almost as if collecting them like prized tokens. That is why it becomes difficult to take seriously the accusations that Republicans are the ones engaged in tyrannical, secretive, behind-closed-doors deals supposedly carried out in plain sight of the American people. The people of this nation, responsible, clear-minded adults, expect accountability for tyranny or corruption in any form. This expectation is not partisan. It is a matter of common sense and decency. It is the minimum standard we should all demand of those entrusted with power. At the same time, it has become increasingly clear who has devoted their careers to undermining the foundations of this country, its institutions, its businesses, and above all, its citizens. And those citizens are, more often than not, hard-working and principled people who strive every day to embody America's virtues of honesty, discipline, and perseverance. Yet global elites, powerful lobbyists, entrenched politicians, media corporations, and professional activists continue to underestimate the discernment and resilience of the American people. They behave as if the public is too distracted or too naive to notice their maneuvers. But history has shown that Americans are neither blind nor passive. Consider, for instance, the echoes of history. In Nazi Germany, citizens were given radios that could tune into only one frequency, the state's frequency. A single voice, a single narrative, a single reality imposed upon an entire people. Today, while the technology has changed, the method feels hauntingly familiar. The vast majority of mainstream media outlets broadcast one-sided messaging designed to protect Democrats while vilifying their opponents. It is not journalism. It is propaganda packaged for mass consumption. And freedom itself is imperiled when truth is filtered through a single lens. This is why I welcome fair and thoughtful questions, because genuine dialogue is rare in our times. Too often, serious discussion is drowned out by mischaracterizations, deflections, and what is now commonly referred to as Trump derangement syndrome. The irrational hostility some direct toward a single political figure, while conveniently ignoring far greater systemic failures. But let us take a sober look at leadership in recent decades. Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris have held the highest offices of power for 28 of the last 32 years. And yet, despite their grip on Washington, they blame one man, Donald Trump, for America's problems, all while insisting that they themselves still hold the answers. If that is not strange to you, it should be. What matters most, however, is that we address these challenges with clarity, mutual respect, and a sincere commitment to the best interests of our nation, regardless of party lines. That said, let us not be naive. There are, unfortunately, many individuals who are beyond reason. People who are, bluntly, foobar. To ignore that reality is to invite unnecessary risk. Far wiser is to remain aware, cautious, and prepared for whatever challenges may arise. This is not fear, it is wisdom. For while we cannot save everyone, we can safeguard ourselves, our families, and our communities. And let us not overlook the staggering irony of wealth and power in America today. For decades, Democrats branded themselves the party of the people. Yet the reality is this: nearly 3/4 of America's wealth is now concentrated in Democrat hands. What does that reveal? That the true champions of working men and women, the true defenders of everyday America, are no longer found in the Democrat Party, but in the Republican Party. The media plays no small part in hiding these truths. Some would have you believe that Fox News stands on the same moral plane as left-wing outlets, that they are all frauds, fakes, and phonies. But let's be honest, that is a hollow argument. The left controls roughly 90% of the media landscape, saturating the public with coordinated propaganda amplified by Hollywood, political elites, and activist networks. A single lawsuit against Fox does not wash away decades of deceit from left-wing megaphones. Meanwhile, Fox, though imperfect, often provides a more neutral or reality-grounded perspective than the manufactured narratives peddled elsewhere. That difference matters. The very billionaire elites who claim to despise inequality are the same ones funding and controlling the left's narrative. They are not rebels against the system. They are the system, while ordinary Americans are force-fed the approved talking points. And consider this: Many of the loudest media anchors who vilify conservatives are themselves pulling in salaries of $10, $20, even $30 million a year. They profit handsomely from propaganda that corrodes truth and divides the public, and some of these operations have less credibility than a neighborhood rumor mill. Accountability is long overdue. Now let us confront another distortion head-on. Crime, immigration, and societal violence are not as simple as the left's talking points suggest. Simplified statistics like illegal migrants commit almost no crime are misleading by design. Raw numbers obscure reality. Per capita rates, DOJ and FBI data, and the lived experience of communities reveal a different picture. Being in the country illegally is itself a violation of US law. Beyond that, government studies confirm that undocumented migrants are involved in homicides, assaults, trafficking, DUIs, cartel activity, and drug smuggling. The fentanyl pouring across the southern border now kills more than 70,000 Americans every year. This is not low crime. This is mass death. Consider, too, the 320,000 missing children who entered this country illegally, with tens of thousands rescued only after enduring horrors no child should face. These are not talking points. These are lives. America's violence problem is multifaceted. Drugs, gangs, cartels, and systemic poverty all play their role. Serious criminologists remind us that concentrated disadvantage and social neglect are driving factors. Yet instead of confronting this reality, left-wing politicians and their media allies prefer easy narratives, distorted statistics, and scapegoating. They obscure truth because truth would demand accountability. The takeaway is simple. Only by facing facts honestly, without ideological spin, can we craft effective policy, restore accountability, and protect the most vulnerable among us. To do otherwise is not compassion, it is negligence dressed as virtue. Let us also resist the temptation to accept lazy stereotypes, false assumptions, and retaliatory lies as a substitute for honest debate. Such tactics corrode trust, stifle conversation, and weaken the very fabric of our nation. In closing, I thank you for your honest question, posed without prejudice or malice. And I leave you with this reminder. The Democrat Party, in both policy and practice, has drifted so far from America's founding principles that it can no longer be considered an American party in any meaningful sense. Respectfully, Ryan T. Walter.